Rodrigo, nice to see you. Hi, Dina. Thank you for coming. Hey, Anil. Well, next panel is moderated by Rupert Schäfer from Burda Media Group in Germany, and from DLD conference. One of the conference, the team of Red Innova were inspired to do this. So part of the things around Red Innova and the ideas is thanks to Rupert and his DLD conference. So I'll leave you for the online panel video with all these stars. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo. Welcome all this afternoon. Session in English now again. It was a little bit hard to follow in Spanish. So as the briefing says, we are talking about online video, best practices and new trends. I think what we have seen after the acquisition of YouTube 2.5 years ago, there's a lot of moving. Not only pictures, but there's a lot of moving industries going into the internet, especially the moving pictures industries. And we see less distinction between classical use of laptop, classical use of TV screen, classical use of mobile videos. It's all kind of merging into each other. So I think after YouTube, everybody at the beginning was betting on user-generated content. And now it is more and more shifting into professional content. We got Hulu, for example. We've got the big television stations coming in and bringing a lot of professional content online. And the questions in the next 40 minutes mainly going to be about the future of television, how the industry is shifting, and how video is coming to the web, and how this undefined future in this new video universe will look. So we have 4 innovative players out of this field here. I want to welcome Axel from Sevenload, Dina from Blip TV, Rodrigo from Depot TV, and Anil from Mesa. Welcome. So I think the easiest way to start is if everybody gives a small introduction on this company and what they are doing, and I think we start with Axel.
Yeah, since we're a video company, thank you, Rupert. I believe we have a small video, and I hope it's a short version. If it's not, I apologize, but then you'll be the better informed. So please, video. Video.
We enable communities around the world to interact with the content they value most. Sevenload is the trusted environment for social media creation, distribution, and monetization. Anytime, anywhere, and on any device. Thanks to our global production pool, Sevenload has the ability to produce its own content perfectly suited to the web TV market.
DPs, producers, management, hair, makeup. I'm talking about the video girls.
Thanks to our viral marketing team, Sevenload is able to achieve maximal video exposure across multiple online platforms. Video ads deliver strong marketing messages while still enjoying a high level of acceptance from users. On Sevenload.com, they not only have a great impact on users, but are also positioned well throughout the site, both with UGC and premium web TV content. Embedded in an extensive European cross-media network, Sevenload is able to promote content throughout the web. Access to Rupert Media's print portfolio. Mega lights, billboards, and city lights in highly frequented city locations, presented by Schäfer. With our competition bundles, we enable you to activate your audience, interaction, and fun for a successful brand promotion. Become an eye-catcher by turning our homepage into your branded world. With its vast content library, Sevenload is Europe's largest professional network for internet television, web TV, and user-generated content. Combining high-quality media and the interactivity of social networking, we achieve reach and involvement for our clients with our professional services.
Sorry, excuse the advertising. I hope what came across is that there's a mix of UGC environments and professional content that we are involved in, and that includes brands. So you have a whole ecosystem that has appeared now. And I won't use up more speaker time, but I'll just quote Barry Diller, who yesterday said, 5 years from now, the web is going to be a paid medium. 5 years from now, the web is going to be a paid medium. I personally believe that short sentence is bullshit, but what's probably going to happen is 5 years from now, there's not going to be a website without a business model anymore. And that's probably going to be true in a year. And what we're seeing in online video now in the year 3 or 4 of mass market distribution of online video is exactly that. Business models arising that enable content to be produced, to be paid for, either by advertisers or even by users. And I'm happy to explore more of that as the discussion goes on. And again, sorry for the advertising.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Axel. I think we go on with Rodrigo and VPOD TV, and you give us a small introduction into your company, show us what you're doing, and as soon as we got all the introductions, we go on with the discussion.
Fantastic. I'm so proud to be after Time Warner on stage here. I'll just make like a 30-second intro. Yo soy Rodrigo Sepúlveda, soy chileno. Con tanto acento argentino acá le hace bien hablar un poquito de chileno. I'll just switch back to English. Just say that. Speak Spanish. Our company, VPOD TV, is a play of words. It's video publishing on demand. We're about 2.5 years old. We're based out of Paris and Madrid. And what we do is we enable large corporations to create their own TV, web TV, internet TV, or just communicate with television, online, onto any screen. Speak Spanish to show you what our customers are doing. So if you can switch to this little Mac over here. Mac. Can we switch? Se nos pueden poner el Macintosh aquí arriba. It's gone.
Find my video crash system.
I didn't hear their sponsorship.
Doesn't work.
Maybe you switch to someone else and we'll come back and show what we do afterwards.
I think we go on with Dina in that way. Or, we need video too. We go with Dina in that way. So Dina, you're coming from the United States, you see the United States market, you're much closer to YouTube in that way than we are here in Europe. And your company is called LibTV. And tell us what LibTV is doing.
Well, I was actually prepared to do a whole spiel on VPOD TV if necessary. Does that... no, thank you for the intro. And I actually wanted to say that I heartily agree with one thing that you said in your very smart but very short intro. And I wanted to challenge another thing that you said. I definitely agree that content will increasingly be viewed just as content, and we will watch it wherever we want to watch it. So people will choose to watch their favorite shows, whether those are made-for television shows, made-for-the-web shows, or mobile shows, on a whole variety of platforms. And I think in a few years from now, you'll just pull down from your browser, okay, I want to watch these shows which may come from a traditional website, these shows from NBC or from a European network, and these shows that were created for Verizon or T-Mobile or whoever else. So content will move around, and shows will just be called shows, which actually folds into what I wanted to say as a potential challenge to what you were saying, where you were breaking down quote-unquote UGC from professional content. The way we see it is that these lines are increasingly blurring. And there are absolutely unbelievably talented quote-unquote professionals, people who produce professional TV shows, professional films, the most A-list of A-list actors, producers, directors out of Hollywood and elsewhere, who are beginning to dabble in web video and will increasingly, I believe, have both. They may do a show for television, but also for a pet project or something. They want to own 100% of the intellectual property rights to create a web show also. So I think that those lines will increasingly blur. As for Blip, what are we? We're the platform for web shows. So right now, Blip.tv hosts 46,000 original web shows that upload an average of 4 new episodes a month every month. 72 million video views a month, 20 million uniques. So we're a pretty major presence in terms of a video site. And in terms of our content creators, I'll just say this. They range from a guy doing a woodworking show in his garage all the way up to Michael Eisner, former head of Disney, so I'm sure you're familiar with, who's producing 5 to 7 original, very highly produced scripted sitcoms and dramas every year. So I'll give you a quick taste of Blip.tv content if, and I cross my fingers here, the video plays.
There we go.
Hey, I'm Tara Stiles, and welcome to Tara Stiles Yoga.
This is supposed to be the king's position, right?
Degrees trucks at Rutgers University are an institution.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Lohan. Happy 10-year anniversary, 9/1.
Yes, we did.
Season on both sides.
You wouldn't know it was vegan if I didn't tell you.
She's still too young to be drinking water.
CW335, diesel sedan. You guys come up with like a name for this?
Say Genevieve.
I like absolute mind-numbing television.
So I'll close, oh, thank you. You know, in this lifetime we should all take applause wherever we can get it, so thank you. I'll end the opening spiel by saying 2 things. There are 2 things that we are obsessed with. One is distribution. This idea that videos need to be watched on a destination site is over. We believe shows have what we would call a total potential audience, and that you should make content available anywhere and everywhere that people are watching videos. At Blip, we view making that easy as one of our primary missions. The second thing we're obsessed with is money. Not only do we need to make money as a video platform, but we need to make money for our shows. And so I can tell you there's nothing better than calling up one of our shows and saying, great news, we have a sponsor for you, we're going to be sending you a check, you can go full time. We have been able to take our top shows, not all 46,000, but we've been able to take our top shows full time. And I'm definitely happy to chat about, answer questions on advertising revenue, and how the few video platforms that are making money are doing so.
Okay. I'm not sure if the video is running now. if we still got time, I think I go on with Anil, because we've seen really strong advertising videos here now showing us how powerful this field can be. But at the other side, online video is one of the most expensive fields you can do on the internet. It's storage costs, it's traffic costs. So, and I think what YouTube, or the acquisition of YouTube, was just like pushing or bringing a really big ball to roll, with a lot of smaller companies coming behind it. But now the question is, YouTube has Google as a backing, and they can survive for the next years. They are doing fine. They are burning a lot of cash. There's been, I think, Credit Suisse made some numbers about a burn rate of 410 or 420, and that was redone now today, or I think yesterday, by Business Week, and it's still a burn rate by $170 million dollars. And what I want to say is, just the main issue at the moment is we have this content, we have all these wonderful creators who are doing it and who are getting a lot of buzz and a lot of reach. And if the monetization does not come in, it's very hard to sustain and to build a product that is lasting. And I want to come on that way to Anil and ask about his experience he had, because Anil, I know him since 3 or 4 years now, and Anil managed to create the biggest buzz with video in Europe. He managed Mobus TV, and you had to shut down your company just recently, and because of mainly the reason content creation costs a lot of money. Exactly. And if advertising does not finance it, it's a very hard and not really sustainable model. So what are your experiences in the past years you had with Mobus TV?
Well, I mean, it was a beautiful experience with Mobus. I mean, obviously we grew it to millions of viewers. We started, in my house, and then we closed down. And I think I wouldn't go into the story, but I'll speak about sort of looking back and looking now at what's happening and where content creators can do interesting things. Well, one, we assumed all the hosting costs. That was one of the big killers for us. Simply because at the time, we looked at companies like, the three of you and YouTube, and we just saw the quality wasn't there. At that time there wasn't any HD video, there wasn't, all the platform distributions were not really put together, and the quality wasn't quite there. So when you look at content producers today, small content producers, you're even before you set up your company, your first partner is Google or YouTube, because or any of the others, sorry, who are offering you the free bandwidth, the content, and a way to monetize your content. But that works on a small scale. So if you're a 1 or 2 person operation working out of your house and you have very little overhead, you can generate a little bit of money if you're lucky. So content, there was a lot of buzz. It was, when we started, it was a great time to start online video. We were one of the few options to watch any content. At that time, most of the sort of hosted platform on YouTube, you had your baby videos and the funny little videos. Now content has grown to much more quality, as we just saw from both presentations. But my experience is it's a difficult time for content creators, but you still need to keep going. We need more innovation in types of content. We were talking just before, about Mobus and Rocket Boom and Ask a Ninja, which are great products which started around the same time 3 or 4 years ago. And now I don't see that much new innovation coming out on the content side. There are new programs, there are new content, but I think, and I would like to see content, the quality of content also innovated. Not only platforms, not only technology, but the quality of the content. So those are just a couple of things that...
Is it time to disagree?
You can disagree.
Okay, I hereby disagree. I think you're right in a way that it's still emerging. So we still need to find a large number of stars or whatever, however you want to term it, that come out of that ecosystem. However, you already have that. I mean, would a Susan Boyle have been a Susan Boyle without the internet? Probably not. No. And that's just a very sort of
but
that's a very obvious example.
But Susan Boyle is like a baby falling down. I mean, it's a one-time hit.
And I also would say...
Yeah, but I mean, what we see in our platform is that if you come from a world of 3.5 minutes versus long form from Paramount, suddenly you have 8 minutes, 12 minutes, we have an interesting thing now that old TV shows are being
reformatted by the user. The user decides in which order he wants to see which scenes and which characters, and breaks up the whole concept of directing a TV series. And that's just the beginning of a whole new world of different types of content.
But see, I think that what we're doing, if we continue this, is taking a traditional media mindset and applying it to the new media. But we need to break down that whole model. You don't need to have stars in web video. In fact, what is happening now, and will increasingly happen, is content will thrive in the niches. Television worked because it existed in an economy of scarcity. A television network can only air a certain number of shows. That's not the case on the web. And in fact, I'll give you a concrete example. The show we've made the most money for in the last year and a half is not even in our top 200 in terms of viewers, but it reaches a really targeted market that's really valuable for an advertiser. So this show, which has a few tens of thousands of views, really not much to speak of, has made a significant amount of money because it reaches the right audience. And I think that we'll see dozens upon dozens, and then soon hundreds upon hundreds of shows that follow that model.
But I mean, both of you, you know, I mean, I'm pretty bearish on the whole video scene, and obviously, you know, it's great to talk about content that way, but content creators have to make money, right? Yeah. So you have all these platforms who are promising, you know, they say, okay, we have this, you know, we have this one show that's doing really well, and I'm sure you have 4 other shows that are doing really well. But of the 47,000, how many actually make more than $500 a month?
But here's the thing. I mean, that ties back to an entirely different problem. But that's not content, not the platform. But that's how far the advertising industry is.
Yeah.
And what you just said is entirely correct. To have the advertising industry understand the value of targeting and admit stray loss and traditional media, that's a process that's taking a while because there's a lot of vested interest. If you're a Group M and you've been attributing 2 or 3 billions of TV budget for the past 30 years, and suddenly you have to admit that 50% of that was, you know, can be saved in a new environment because suddenly you have conversion, and you don't need to have 2 million reach for an ad, because 20,000 reach financial services, I guess, will give you a high CPM revenue, and you can pay back that high CPM revenue to the content owner, and that's the ecosystem that's being created. You need a bit of patience, but the problem is, that's not a problem of the platforms, that's the advertising industry is slowly changing. In our market, 2009 is the year it is changing. We're coming from a 20 million online video advertising market, which is nothing by advertising standards, to at least triple that this year, and a factor of 10 or something, or 15 next year. It's a real explosion.
Yeah.
Okay, just to interrupt shortly, I just wanted to give Rodrigo a chance to show us because we're going more and more into the business model discussion that I want to go on with you. And before that, Rodrigo, please show us shortly what Rupert is doing and what your business model is, and then we go on with the business model discussion.
Thank you, because that is a really interesting part, the business model about online video. When we started 3.5 years ago with my partner there sitting in the back, you know, everyone told us, this is September 05, October 05, there's no market for online video. And when we said we want to enable corporations to have their own web TV, to go online and to communicate with their customers, communicate internally with video, this is like, you're dreaming. This is never going to happen. Well, entrepreneurs, and we talked a lot about entrepreneurs this morning, love to prove everyone else wrong, so let me show you reality. So this is a company called GDF Suez. I'll just read out the page. And all of this is live, right? GDF Suez is probably the 3rd or the 4th largest French company. It's bigger than French Telecom. You've probably never heard of them. They're the 2nd largest utility in the world. They do about 80 billion in revenue, 200,000 employees. Last month, at their General Assembly, they deployed a new website. And on the new website, there's a link to their new web TV, just right there. And this web TV actually has all of their corporate communication, but all of their knowledge as well. And it's being deployed both externally, but also internally to all of their employees around the world. And it's a tool to better communicate. It was deployed on the web, and it's pretty neat. It has a lot of little features. But also, it's been deployed on mobile. We talked about mobile in the previous panel, on the iPhone, on the web. So whenever you have a pervasive screen, you can actually watch all of this content and just move around. This is a utilities company, not someone you would expect to actually go and very full speed on video. Another company doing the same thing is Leroy Merlin here in Spain. I think you call it Leroy Merlin. They're a do-it-yourself retail chain, they're all around Europe, and they have a service called Du Côté de Chez Vous, which is a kind of a story of content. They go on regular television, but they also go online now, and they teach you how to use all their products with video. So I just took one here, and they show you, for instance, when people buy stuff from them, what it looks like at their own home. Again, this is the do-it-yourself retail store. And they have about 300 hours of content that they've produced professionally, and the people send over to them. Another example is Danone, the yogurt company. Danone is a very graphical design here homepage. If you reload it, it changes all the time. And you'll find now video all over the site. There's video at the HR, oh, wrong here. There's video on the HR part, there's video on the brands, on the products, there's video on the R&D. They just use video to communicate everywhere. And just one example here, for example, let's see, for instance, their best advertising around the world. And what I like about this example, wherever it loads, is that it's not the video section of the site. Let's click something. It's just one part of the site that uses video to display what they're doing.
Okay, so to make it short, you're a B2B solution for video content.
Just give it 10 seconds. Banks do it. Now press do it. E-commerce is doing it, which is very big. Actually, anything that has to do with transactions is doing it. Real estate, cars, sales, is doing it. CVs, when actually doing it, job hunting, is doing it as well. And then you can also have another great content, such as this guy's.
Perfect. So your business model is selling white labels in that way?
The latest buzzword is SaaS. We're an online hosted solution, so we sell licenses for our service, and then we sell usage of our platform.
How would you define your business models? Advertisement, white labels, yours is right advertisement?
Yeah, in the end, we're not a technology company, we're a media company, so it's advertising.
Axel?
We say we're the future of TV. And I think I'd like to rejoin one point. We think of online video as the video player. Where all of this is going is that increasingly there is sort of no real difference between the video and the stuff you can click on and the website around it, and whether it's small or big, because A, you have widget distribution across all social networks where videos are embedded. B, you have a multitude of devices, and this year is going to be the year of interactive TV, where the first interactive TV sets are coming out. So you have an IP signal on your TV with a remote control. You can click and point and use it like a website. So maybe Barry Diller was wrong, but maybe in 5 years there won't be a website and on the website a small video. It'll just be interactive moving pictures all the time, all across the board. And having a business model where you create content and you finance content through advertising revenue or through pay models, that's where it's ultimately going.
Yeah. So now, but looking at the whole market size of advertising in online video, it's still very small. And as Anil already said, it's very hard for content producers to refinance and to work with that. So what are your future perspectives for the market? Where is it heading to? Where is it going to? And how do you convince the advertisers not to spend the 50 million budget in television, which is maybe not as good performance-based and trackable like you have it on your online sites, but as this point of stage, you still only have a very, very small value in online advertisement in that way. So how do you convince them, and how do you see the market changing, and what must be done to reach to the ad agencies to spend more money on your site and to make, for people like, or for the content producers like Anil tried it, a better living?
Well, so let's be clear that we've come a long way. We started also like Rodriguez in 2005. For 3 years, you are pitching online video. We're not pitching Blip.tv. Hulu wasn't pitching. Hulu, they started more recently. But you're just pitching online video. That is not happening anymore. There are several trends that are happening right now which are very exciting. Recently, a change has happened, whereas you used to be only pitching the digital people. The digital folks are tough because they are very used to paying for search, and very used to paying for display, and all of them are more action-based, right? It's not used for branding. In the last 6 months, the doors have opened up for all of us in web video to talk to the TV buyer folks. Why is this better? Number one, TV is for branding. Number two, the budgets are probably 100-fold what the digital budgets are. All right, don't quote me on that. Many-fold what the digital budgets are. So the opportunity for us to go after TV dollars is incredibly significant. But what needs to happen? A few things need to happen. There need to be standards for what is a video view. Some video platforms will go out, push videos out through a banner ad that no one's seeing because they're on autoplay and they're actually below the fold of where you're looking at on the computer, and tell a brand, we got 40 million views of your ad. No one actually saw them, but they ran. So it's incredibly important that the industry associations, such as the IAB, come up with a standard for what a video view is. We also, the video platforms, need to come together and offer brand lift surveys that show exactly what the brand recall was for someone that watched a web video ad, what the purchase intent increase was, and then be able to show, here's what you'll get for a TV ad, here's what you'll be able to get for an online web ad, and in fact, you'll get much more for buying a web ad. So the budgets, the money is definitely coming our way. I'm proud to say that this month and last month, our inventory has been sold out, something that hadn't happened in the 4 years prior.
I think a recession helps in a way, because what happens in a recession is, it's a stupid reflex, but it says a lot about advertising. First thing people cut is advertising budgets. Wait a minute, you're selling, you have a problem in sales because you're in a recession, you cut your marketing. What sense does that make? Well, what it says is that advertising is not efficient. And as you just said, search engine marketing is incredibly successful because the customer acquisition cost of getting a customer through Google averages around $1, right? As opposed to $250 on traditional TV, or $150 if you're better at targeting. So that's a huge economy of scale that has driven search engine marketing. And the same thing is happening now with online video, with exactly the difference you just named, that is that there is no difference anymore between something that's transaction-oriented and text-based and branding. You can have branding and performance at the same time. And in boom times, budget reallocations don't really happen. You get a slice out of the innovation budget going to online video because it's a cool thing to do, and that's it. In bust times, if you can prove that your conversion on your ads, on your video ads, and I'm happy to say we're getting, I'm sure you're having the same conversion, we're getting 7, 8, 9, 10% conversion on ads. And this is significant in size. It's not just 1,000 or 2,000 ad views. But there are a couple of impediments. One is standardization. The other is reporting. We need to report in ways that traditional media buyers feel comfortable with. So tell them about GRPs and customer segmentation, stuff that's a bit alien to the online world. And we need to acknowledge the fact that in many ways, media distribution, budget distribution still is very much of an oligopoly. So you have lots and lots of large media handling companies that have little interest in the details of your targeting, and they're sort of used to managing billions of dollars of advertising. And that needs to break up. The easiest way to break that up is, if you can't beat them, join them. We have to report in ways that they understand, and we have to create pressure by convincing advertisers. That's happening a lot right now. So I see a bright future, especially if we match good content with good targeting. That's going to drive what we're doing.
So, Rodrigo, what is your biggest threat you're seeing in the future?
Well,
because you're gonna do the solutions for all the big corporations going and bringing their content online, kind of competing with you because you want their content on your sites. Rodrigo is delivering a solution so they can host their content on their site.
It's not really a problem. Actually, they're very willing to re-syndicate everywhere in terms of content. What we're seeing, and I have a few comments, is in a time where everyone else is cutting off marketing budgets, our customers understand that if they actually invest in communication and marketing, they're having a much larger share of mind than if they didn't do it. That's why they're all going actually pretty big, these big corporations, on this. On our media customers, the costs are still too high to be covered by CPM revenue. But they understand, looking back to 2002, 2003, if they don't start now to invest to build an audience, they won't have an audience in 2 years' time when the recession kicks out. So they're actually very willing to go there. Nevertheless, the small media cannot invest. It's way too expensive. It's not a revenue line for them. They're not going into there. Some of our customers have 7 to 10 million uniques. Actually, they are investing in this. So I say it's pretty big. It's becoming a very standard tool now. Everyone wants web TV. They don't want to buy just the web TV. It's part of a much larger communication channel. And we talked to a lot of the media agencies in putting together solutions for our customers.
So, if I can just ask a question to both of you. I mean, for me, right now, the typical advertising model, the CPMs, and we won't get into that discussion, maybe. I don't know if it will.
Bring it on.
I don't know if it to believe whether it works or whether it doesn't. But another form of advertising is where advertising is more integrated into content. So you have shows where you have product placement. You have shows where there have sponsored shows. How do you guys integrate those kind of deals with content providers on your platforms? I don't know.
It's obviously the easiest way to break the budget allocation sort of deadlock in the short term. We've in the first quarter of 2009, 3 times the revenue we did in the whole of last year, and last year's revenue was a 7-digit revenue. So that's a huge increase. Of course, we did not make that increase just by selling on a CPM model. We would never have made that increase on a CPM model. We made it through sponsorships, through special deals, through integration of content, through branded entertainment. It's very big for us. So you need to go a bit out of your way. And the only issue with that is that it's in the long term, it's not really scalable unless you find ways of either activating the content community, that they get access to advertisers, which is an interesting thing. Or finding other ways of standardizing it, and at least having standardized metrics, which goes back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to interrupt it. So I agree that it's not a scalable model, but for the small content producer, it is an interesting model. It's more of a model than the CPM model.
€2,000 a month, no problem.
Yes.
See, I would say that I don't think that those should be mutually exclusive. And I should back up by saying in answer to your question earlier before Rodrigo gave his great presentation. We have an ongoing problem, which is the why do I have 100 views and no sponsor question. To which the answer is you have 100 views, you should have no sponsor. You asked earlier why are many of the 46,000 shows not making money, or how many of them are making $500 or more. A lot of them should not be making $500 or more. Look, we all here, all of us here in this room, are not in the business of making content creators feel better about their content. We are in the business of making, in terms of the monetization side, we're in the business of helping advertisers sell stuff, period. What do advertisers want right now, especially during a recession? They want to move units off of the shelves. So we spent a lot of time with Procter & Gamble. For Procter & Gamble, which has a product like Tide, they need to be moving millions and millions and millions of units of Tide off the shelves, or they've failed. So to do a brand integration into a smaller show is literally a waste of time for them. And I would say pre-recession, an experimental buy, something to give a marketing manager, something to come on a panel and talk about, was very exciting. It's not going to happen now, and it shouldn't happen now. But how do you do brand integration? Here's, I think, the way to do it. I think what you do is you could give a Procter & Gamble, to use this example, deep brand integration into 1 or 2 shows at the top of the vertical that get 1 to 6 to 10 million views, so that it does provide some scale. And then round that out with a whole vertical of content in the mom vertical, the fashion vertical, the beauty vertical, whatever it is that the market is they're looking for. And package together 50 shows, or maybe 100 shows, that reach that target audience. That way you're giving them 2 things. The buzz that's great from a brand integration, that close connection between an audience and a show host that you can only get through a very deep brand integration. But you're also giving them the advantage of a pure down and dirty media buy, pre-roll, overlay, post-roll, that really scales. When you can pair both of those together, you have a winning campaign that's going to give you buzz and drive product sales.
Okay.
Couldn't have said it better.
Thank you, Dina. So we have to end the session already. I'm sorry, short session only. But as I see the market,
one more advertising movie.
One more advertising movie. No, I still see it's a very interesting market, but there's still also a lot of questions that have to be figured out. And like I said, I think you are all still searching for the big ad money coming into the platforms. Everybody's working for it and trying it. YouTube is your biggest competitor in that way, I would say. Would you say no?
Complementary ecosystem.
Yeah.
Complementary, they are.
Distribution
Google is
partners.
not sleeping too. But yeah, it's good to see. I think 2 years ago this discussion would be a little bit more offensive, just like we changed the world. Now it's more about how we're going to make money with it. But it's a good way, and I hope that the whole web video market will explode in the future and we all have a lot of fun with it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.